Right, let's see. Yep, change camera angle. Alright, and we are live working on the Voron V0 build once again. This is not the first time I will have worked on this setup. I did a previous stream you can check out in the playback function. And I also worked on it off stream because I was impatient and want to keep working on this project and get it done. It's tying up my workbench, as well as the fact that I was working, I was really busy this week with work and such outside of the studio, and as such I had to keep streaming or keep working on it outside of a stream. Didn't have time or energy to do it, so we're gonna work on this. It seems like the music's still pretty loud. Let's bring it down even further. Okay, now we are ready for, I believe, working on the setup. Let's take a look what we have going on. I just want to pop out the chat here so I have it ready to go and I can see it. I'm trying something new this week. I've got the stream and chat actually pulled up on a monitor behind the camera, so hopefully I will be a little more engaging this week around. We shall see. But I think we are now ready to pick up with where we left off with the last time, or where I left off with the last project. Took your advice, bought my first printer, a CR10 V3. Awesome, hope you like it. Direct drive with the Titan Aero extruder setup. Should be pretty good setup for you for learning and more advanced stuff down the road. Awesome. All right, I've got the iPad pulled up here. I'm going to get the actual V0 out of my way. This is the setup where it's currently at. Let's actually take a look at where I'm at right now. I'll give you a bit of a catch up what I worked on while I was out of here. Inspiration to get back into printing. Love to hear it. Thank you. Glad to be of help. So I got the motor assemblies mounted on this thing this week. So the X and Y motor assemblies, I actually had to reprint a handful of parts for that. So I don't know why my setup just glitched. My iPad glitched and jumped down a bunch. Hello from South Bend, Indiana. Hello, welcome to the stream. And I got the Z-axis motor assembly set up on here as well. It's a little hard to see since everything's black and I'm wearing a black shirt, but it's there. Maybe you can see it. Kind of see it. Yeah. Anyway, it's there. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got done. So we're moving on to the actual X gantry now. Well, the X and Y axis technically. So we're going to be working on that next. I'm going to get this out of the way for the moment. And we can pick up where we are at here. Moving my way down. Okay, here's where we're at. I started working on the X a little bit last night. So I've already got, let me jump camera angles here, see if you can see here. So I've already got the one end with the pulleys, bearing pulleys and all that together on this side. And then I've got the the X-axis. Thank you. This build's been going okay so far. I've had to reprint a couple of parts, but overall it's going pretty well. So, and there's the thing that most commonly happens. One of these little frickin' M3 nuts drops out of here. Those are the biggest pain of this entire build. But we are going to move on to this assembly right in front of me that I need to put together. I had to reprint some parts. I started working on this last night, and it just wasn't working out. I had to reprint some parts. So I didn't realize I had some warped parts that I did, and that was a bit of a problem. So let's change camera angles. All right. Actually, I'm going to switch you back to this camera. And all right, now I'm going to be dealing with these little bits here that I've got in front of me. Appreciate the beginner videos. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. I'm happy to be of help. All right. Now this is the fiddly parts where I've got to stack in proper order the... Pull this up here. The motor... the XY axis pulleys and all that that's going to mount to the... to the rail. Okay, I believe this is the order. I had to reprint this part last night, so I'm going to have to install... Your videos have solved so many of my issues. Love to hear that. I have to install a couple of threaded inserts into here, so let's get the soldering iron fired up so we can do that. Focus is not on the object I want it to be on. That looks better. Check the popped out chat here. Yeah. Bloop. Only bad thing about big prints is needing more than one spool. I agree. That's one thing I'm looking forward to playing with the palette. My Mosaic, anybody's not familiar, my Mosaic Palette 3 came in this week. That's one of the reasons I really didn't get into printing that one yet, Nick, is I haven't had a lot of time to babysit print first. And also, I knew that when I printed it, it was going to take more than one spool as well, and I really didn't feel like dealing with that. So, yeah. But with the palette, I should be able to synchronize and just switch from one spool to another. Alright, we're installing some of the threaded heat inserts into here right now. The instructions don't say to recess these in there pretty thoroughly, but I found that they should be to get the screws to reach as far as they need to. Just one of those things the instructions are a little lacking on, in my opinion. Going to take 5 days. Woo! I look forward to seeing it. Are you printing it on one of your CR10s? How do you like the Voron versus the Ender? I haven't tried the Voron yet. Voron is an entirely different class of machine. I have not run this machine yet, but just building a Voron is an advanced thing. It's not something anybody who is not very thoroughly confident in their skills or knows what they're trying to achieve should attempt. This is not a beginner machine at all. Alright. Where do you put your finished prints? They're kind of scattered all over the place. I've got a shelf in my office where a handful of them live. And there's a closet that's full of them, and then they're just kind of scattered around the studio as well. So... Alright. Got the pulleys here. What should I get for a second printer? The question is, what do you want out of a second printer? Are you looking to print higher temp materials? Do you need a larger print volume? What's your primary printer? Do you have an Ender 3 now? I have a Voxelab Aquila. Okay, so you're a clone of an Ender 3, effectively. So yeah, what do you want? What are you missing? Do you just want to print more stuff? If you just want to print more stuff, get a second Voxelab. If you're happy with it. Oh, that tea is hot. I want to print TPU. You want direct drive. When people start asking me for advanced advice, I tell them, when you get to that point, you'll know. Okay, that's a fair statement. If you want to print TPU, I mean, the Prusa i3 Mark III's that's running behind me right now is a solid machine. A lot of people love it. I have constant problems with mine, but hey, that's just my existence. My luck, I guess. And I mean, I've really liked the Odin Tech, the Odin 5 from Focus Tech. as like an upgrade machine from, say, an Ender 3, which has direct drive. I have not tried printing TPU on it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Hello to all 4 of you. Welcome to the stream, Peter. With that, my Odin 5 has been down for a little while now. What about the Ender 3 Pro? Ender 3 Pro is a great machine. The question is just, you know, what do you need? What do you want? If you have a Voxelab Aquila, the Ender 3 Pro is going to be kind of a sidestep. It's really not going to be, it's not going to provide you anything you don't already have. So while I would generally recommend that machine, that's just my thought. Generally, when people are looking for a second machine, it's either that they want to produce more stuff or they want to, let's switch back so you can see what I'm fiddling with here. It's either that they want to print more stuff or it's that they are constrained by the machine they have now. So that's why I ask, like, what are you missing? What do you want? Ah, these little fiddly washers and pieces. That's the hardest part. I read that before I started this build, and it is so true. The hardest part of this build is just all of the little bits and pieces you got to deal with. There's so much little stuff going on here. All right. Sorry if you can't see much more about what I'm doing here. I love the CR6 SE. I'm constrained by counter space. Well, I don't have a whole lot of help for you there. Thoughts on upgrading an existing printer or just buy a more advanced one? That's really up to you. There's a lot to be said for learning the printer you have and then upgrading it to meet your needs, and it's probably going to be more cost effective to do that. But then you run the risk of, like, disabling the one machine you have or whatever. So, like, it's really hard for me to say on that end. Okay, now this piece sits atop of here. Now I need to grab a screwdriver and a number 2 hex. Generally, I recommend people just buy a more advanced printer when they're looking to go that route, just to, like, make it easier on them. But if you're confident in upgrading and modifying a printer, then that's an excellent way to go. And it will teach you a little more about maybe the print process or the machines you're working with, things like that. All right, now I need a number 1.5. I have the Ender 5. School I work for is upgrading our printers. Any good suggestions? What are you looking for from those printers? Do they need to be enclosed units? Are they going to be working with, like, small children where you're worried about them sticking their fingers in the thing? If you're not, and you're just looking for good all-around quality machines, the folks over at Printed Solid are now the U.S. distributors for educational purposes of Prusa. I would maybe reach out to them and see what they can do for you. So that might be like a good way to go, a good direction to look for you. It'll be a solid machine. It's just definitely not going to be the most cost-effective machine out there. 6th through 12th grade. Okay, so that's not as important, I would say. Because generally, I would tell people to look at something like a Flash Forge machine because they're enclosed. I've not used one. I've reached out to Flash Forge, asked them for some sample, and they've never gotten back to me. So I could, like, see what it's all about and try the machines to see about recommending them. But they're enclosed machines that some people like the thought of. But for that age group, I would consider looking at something like the Prusas. You're going to get excellent quality with a ton of range without having to upgrade and modify them. They have excellent support. So for your staff to be able to reach out and ask for help or get replacement parts is going to be pretty easy. They've got, like, support staff on call. I love the Ender machines for people who are hobbyists. I love the Creality machines for people who are willing to troubleshoot their own stuff. But you got to reach out to somebody in China to try to get replacement parts or do all of your own troubleshooting. and having somebody to bounce stuff off of is a great thing. So I would probably reach out to the folks at printedsolid.com, and they are going to be able to talk to you and maybe work you through that. So they just, like 2 days ago, became the U.S. distributors for that stuff. So I love upgrading and working on my Ender 3. I do too, but not everybody wants to tinker and play. Like, for some of us, working on the machines is a large part of 3D printing, and for other people, it's not. So I think we have some really old ones. Someone donated of that brand. We were looking at newer via Amazon. I mean, yeah, if you're looking via Amazon, the Elegoo Neptune 2S is a solid one. It's basically an upgraded Ender 3. Elegoo Neptune 2S is probably a decent one to go with. But I would try reaching out to Printed Solid and see what they can do for you. I have no idea what educational pricing is like, so maybe they can work you a good deal on a group of them or something. I would reach out to them. What tea are you drinking? I am drinking, my go-to tea for stream is, what's it called? Celestial. Celestial's Sleepy Time tea, which is basically a chamomile tea with agave nectar in it, and it's just really good for my voice. So, do you recommend a Hemera or direct drive versus a Bowden tube? No, I don't. I generally find Bowden systems are just fine. A lot of people feel that they need to go to direct drive. I have to get a direct drive system. That'll solve all of my problems. And it just won't. It'll unlock new problems. So they're great. They just have different hurdles you have to overcome. If you're looking for something maybe a little more advanced, then yeah, the Hemera is a great setup. I've considered switching out my BQ-H2 to a Hemera, but I'm on the edge of purchasing an Ender 5 Plus for prototyping parts. Ender 5 Plus, great for build volume. Nothing else I like about it. I have one. I love it now that I've heavily upgraded it. But the Ender 5 Plus, it's kind of old tech in a lot of ways, and I really wish they would update that machine to some newer stuff. Yeah, as Nick said, if you want larger build volume, I really recommend the CR10 series at this point. You're not going to print very fast, but you're not going to with the Ender 5 Plus either. Yeah, it's kind of the direction I go. Okay, now the instructions, I ran into this before. The instructions tell me to install a handful of... Let me pull up the instructions for the stream here. Anybody who wants to see a little bit more of what I'm doing, I'm over on YouTube, youtube.com/MandicReally, and we are streaming over there. So I've got the iPad pulled up here so folks can see what I'm looking at in the instructions for this build. The instructions tell me to install 2 M3 nuts at each end of this extrusion, but I don't see where the second screw goes when that's the case. And there's supposed to be 2 nuts on the face of this as well. I had to look forward in the instructions to kind of see what they want me to do, because this doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, I think I know why. I'm going to be installing the limit switch on here later. That's what I'm looking at. What upgrades do you recommend for the Ender 5 Plus? A lot. Mainboard upgrade. Let me tell you what I've done to my Ender 5 Plus. I'm running a Big Tree Tech SKR 1.4 turbo board in it. I'm running a Big Tree or BQ H2 direct drive extruder system on it. I converted the X-axis to linear rail. I run a totally different firmware setup that I've compiled myself. I've removed the front bar off the top of it. Like, I've done enough stuff to that I really, like, I had to rebuild the machine to get it to what I wanted it to be, and that's why it's hard for me to recommend to people. I have about $1,000. I can either buy 3 more Ender 3v2s or something else. Recommendations. Again, same question I keep asking people when they're looking for a new printer. Do you need something different? Are you just looking to produce more stuff? If you're looking to produce more stuff, you just need more printers to run more stuff, I say buy those Ender 3 V2s. Buy what you know and what you like. If you've already got your Ender 3s dialed in, buy more of those so you have, like, you only have to buy parts for one machine. You're not buying parts for 5 different machines like I have to. You can have a stockpile of backup parts and be ready to go, and your knowledge will translate to all those machines. But if you need bigger stuff, if you want to print bigger stuff, then you might need to look at something like an Ender 3 Max, a CR10. So that's kind of the thought. Looking to start a print farm? Stick with what you know then. I'd stick with the Ender 3s then, probably. If what you're looking to print fits the Ender 3, stick with that. It'll be simpler, it's easier to get parts for. That would be my recommendation. The Ender 3s are my go-to recommendation for a starter printer, or even, you know, like, I print most of my stuff on an Ender 3. So, okay. I think I figured out why they wanted that second nut in there. We are good now. We can move forward. So I got to slip this onto here. Switch cam for you folks. I got to slip this onto this end. Great, the nut went in right as it should have. That's the wrong size. No, it's not. That's the right size. Did the hex go in the bottom? Yeah, it's in there. Hex in the bottom. Here's where I need an overhead angle. I need a third camera in this setup. I've only got 2 cameras on the stream right now. I need a third one. Sidewinder X1 is only $250. Yeah, I've heard of them, and a lot of people like them. I don't know. For me, I recommend the Ender 3s because of the wealth of information that's available for them and parts availability. You know, you start looking at other machines. Love the screwdriver kit. Me too. This XOOL screwdriver precision kit that I have. I really like this setup. I also have the power version, which I don't know why I'm not using. It's charged up. I should. So, okay. Moving forward in these instructions. Alright, that all looks pretty good. I think it's about time to... Let's check, make sure that that looks as it should, just as the instructions show. And it does. The belt routing is the proper setup right now. Alright. Yeah, parts and information availability for the Ender 3 is a large part of why I recommend them. I got an Ender 3 V2. It's doing very well. Awesome. I have a handful of Ender 3s. I love them. They're my go-to recommendation for a starter machine. I want a V0.1, like what I'm building here, for rapidly printing smaller stuff. That's one of the reasons that I'm running this setup, or I'm building this setup, is for rapid prototyping, literal rapid prototyping, and just for fun. My Ender 3's dialed in. My Ender 3s are dialed in as well. I constantly have people asking me, like, you know, oh, your prints look so good. You're printing on your Prusa. Like, what do you... They're just Ender 3 prints. I've just dialed them in and worked with it. Is direct drive needed? No, it's not needed. It's a nice to have and or not necessary. Bowden system works just fine for most things. If you're talking about Ender 3, the mechanics of an Ender 3 really aren't set up for having the Bowden system on there. Awesome. Love to see you got some help on the stream last time around there, Peter. That's great. Calibration, calibration, calibration. You are right, Nick. All right. Back to this. Make a little space on the bench here because we got to pull the machine back up here. Not that I need a lot of space for it, but, you know. All right. Bring up the V0 back into frame here. Now I need to get this gantry in here facing this way. Oh yeah, I figured that was gonna be a thing. All right. Now, these are all the same, right? Make sure I didn't put the wrong rail in the wrong place. How you doing today? Welcome, Jay Keats. I am doing okay. Got to stream a little later than I'd hoped to, but we're going good. Yeah, no, all 5 linear rails are the same. I'm questioning myself. The spacing on the X rail setup like seems off to me. But we will address that maybe later. See, they show in the instructions, it looks like these are basically butted up against the rail, but they aren't. I don't know. Oh, I got that backwards. God, I shouldn't have worn a black shirt. Let's zoom this out and move this camera. Alright, maybe you folks can see a little better on that one. No, not really. Okay. Okay. You got the baby back, but you had to go steal her back. Oh, you told me about, you told me it was her birthday, but you didn't tell me you got her back. So, good for you, Nick. I hope things look up a little bit for you. Okay, I just loosened those up a little bit so I can kind of position things the way I need to. I'm gonna just loosely assemble this and then reposition the rail. I feel like it's a little off here. I'm wearing Voron camo. Yeah, I am. God, it's warm in here. I had the heat turned up because I was printing ASA because one of the parts on this was warped, so I had to reprint something yesterday, and whew. Yeah, the police said they couldn't enforce the court order, but they said they can't arrest me. Oh, good luck with that. That's messy. That's messy, man. Okay. These are the M2x6 with the tapered head. M2x6. As I launch the little thing, let's give you folks a better view here. Bigger view. I need 8 of these. Wrong one. This fastener kit came all mixed up, so I had to literally sit down. Any updates on the truck? I haven't been down there in so long now. My parents both caught COVID, so we were both kind of like, my partner and I were staying away for a little while, and it's whatever. I'll get down there sometime soon, hopefully, but no real updates at the moment. I've been so busy with this tattoo shop build that we're working on that that's been taking up all my time. The Ender 3 XL, the Max, the Ender 3 Max, does it have the same parts and information availability? The information is not quite as widely available, but most of the information will still apply. It's just an Ender 3 on a larger scale. And it also runs dual part cooling fans, which is actually a bit of an upgrade. Let's see if this, I want to focus this a little bit. That looks a little better. What are your plans for the Voron when you're done? Definitely to play around, speed printing a benchy, you know, as everybody does with one of these things. I want to do that just to play and learn and you know, mess with it a little bit. I'm planning to do like some fast, I hope to do like lives on here on TikTok primarily and maybe Twitch of just speed printing, just fast printing little stuff. Or regular size stuff that fits within this build volume. I've got a build idea, or a video idea. I've got a video idea planned. I've got to reach out to a friend of mine that does... Ah, damn it, these are the wrong screws I just pulled out of here. Ay, ay, ay. I pulled the M2 by... No, they're right. Yeah, these are the right ones. Come on. That feels funky. I better pull this apart and How fast will it print? You know, that's for tuning to decide. Where'd that just go? Little bitty guy just disappeared. It fell into a little pocket on this thing. I don't know. I'm hopeful that I can hit 1,000 millimeters a second acceleration. In that might be pushing it, but we'll find out. But yeah, I'm hoping to repeatably print well over 250, like 300 millimeters a second. I don't think that's outrageous. Any ideas for just a beginner? For a beginner, just ordered my son one to learn with. I've got a whole playlist on TikTok called New Printer Tips. It's a whole playlist on my page. It's all about beginner stuff. Just like website resources, stuff to help beginners learn. So go check that out. Oh yeah, these are crunchy. Why are these threads so, ugh. These are stainless steel slides. Technically, I should be using anti-seize in them, and I didn't get any, which is not a good thing. Just one of them. They must be dirty. The threads must be dirty. They don't feel so good. Does it print that fast because it's so small, or the design? Both. It's a factor of both. The design, like the larger Vorons, the much larger ones, can print that fast as well with proper tuning and blah, blah, blah. But this one being smaller maybe should make it theoretically a little easier to achieve that. So, you know, all the mechanics being so small and lighter weight is part of the factor. Okay, that feels better. Is there an optimal ambient temp when printing? I find upper 60s to low 70s to be pretty optimal for most materials. PLA is pretty forgiving, PETG less so, and ASA is not forgiving at all. So, like right now, I've got the temp a little hotter in the studio than I care for personally, because I was printing ASA last night without an enclosure. So, but if you can achieve like upper 60s, you'll be good. So a cold basement or garage, you might want to like insulate or get an enclosure for your printer to try and help. Or a space heater, which does up your costs, but... I also have 4 cats. Is dander and hair much of an issue? I don't find it to be. I've got 3 cats, and the only problem I ever have is the one cat absolutely loves to play with filament. That's the only problem I ever have. They leave my printers the heck alone, so I might just be lucky in that respect. We keep the inside max 68, min 60. You should be okay printing PLA then. Loving the progress. Can't wait to see when it's done. I can't wait for it to be done. I want to move on to other projects. But thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. That feels good. I cleared all the threads out on these. What is up, Jacob? Welcome to the stream. Working on the Voron V0.1 build. Trying to make some freaking progress on this thing. I'm hoping... I double, triple checked. I did the math on how much this thing has cost me. So far, it's going okay. It's just as fiddly as everybody told me that building a Voron V0 would be, which stinks, but that's what I expected. I wasn't sure if people were like overblowing it or not, but they're right. It's just so little. All the stuff is so freaking little. But we're getting there. I'm very hopeful to have this thing running in the next week or so. It's just mostly a matter of when I find time to work on it at this point. What's the recommendation for a first hot-end upgrade on the stock E3 V2? What do you need? Do you need to print hotter materials? Is that why you want to upgrade, or do you want to upgrade for another reason? If you're looking to print hotter materials and you want an all-metal hot end, the Fadis BMS... or is it the BMO? Is a really solid option. I forget which one it is. The Fadus hot end setup is a pretty solid option for Crealities. But if you are... Oh, if you're just looking to upgrade the part cooling setup, like you're talking about the whole hot end, not actually the hot end, but the entire assembly, then the Hero Me Gen 5 is a really great setup. I run that on one of my machines. I have dual part cooling fans, dual 50 series part cooling fans on there. It works great. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. Now this next one, I don't think I can use this screwdriver with. I can't get in there. Yeah, if you're just looking for additional part cooling, better overall design for customizability on the whole assembly of around the hot end, the Hero Me Gen 5 is a great setup. Well, I think they're on the Gen 6 now. I'm running the Gen 5. Why is this not want to seem like it doesn't want to suck in? I'm going to get this other side together a little bit, and we'll come back to this side. It's like the screws aren't drawing it in, and I don't want to force it and cause a stripping issue. Because stainless going into stainless is not amazing. That's why I really should have some anti-seize in the equation here. They don't mention that in the instructions, but I don't think the stock parts list calls for stainless slides. I upgraded to stainless slides. So, yeah, see, that one's going together great. This side's just finicky for some reason. I wonder if that part is a bad print. Oh. Suddenly I'm very hungry. I gotta remember the concept of eating before a stream. I don't know why that's so hard for me to figure out, but here I am, once again, hungry on stream. Alright, that's going together. Let's tighten these up on this side, and then we'll mess with the other side. Eat on stream and give random questions. Yeah. Not much for eating on stream. I personally can't stand the sound of chewing, so I always worry about that. The concept of those like eating streams drives me up a wall. Just not my thing. What are they called? I forget what they're called. Yeah. Why is this side so freaking troublesome? I don't want to have to force it to pull in, but it kind of feels like I have to. Yep, I've got to freaking pull. Oh, I don't like that. Tiny little M2 screws pulling in a printed part. All right, well, it's going. It's going. Mukbang, that's it. Mukbang. Protein shake, yeah. I should really make one before stream. That's a good call. Have that to sip on versus tea. At least Monster would, like, you know, be an appetite suppressant. Whenever I switch from PETG to PLA, I get crazy clogs. Any suggestions? Are you running a stock Bowden tube, like the Teflon Bowden tube? Maybe it's distorted. The higher extrusion temperature of PETG may allow it to work. Let's push this all the way to the back so I can tighten these up equivalent size. Yeah, that should get done what I need here. I don't think the instructions say that, but they don't say that, but they kind of show it. Nope, they do. They do say that, actually. Okay. I was just like being a smarty pants, being like, oh, this makes sense. I'll just move it to the back. I can't see my second frickin' screw up in here to get the stopper on. All right, I need a stop block. Into the bin of printed parts we go. I don't see a stopper with a single. I've got a couple of double hole ones. It's definitely showing a single hole one. Oh, there it is. There it is. I figured it'd be an accent part, and it is. It's an accent part. Okay, so I gotta put an M3x16 down through it. What bed plate would you recommend for an Ender 3 V2? I would recommend a PEI spring steel sheet. I love PEI. Great adhesion. What's the black and green thing in the box? That's the back panel for this. It's the back wall of this machine that I printed. A mod file I downloaded for it. Yeah, PEI coated sheet would be my recommendation for a bed upgrade, change, whatever. Yeah, screw's not there. I gotta try and get the screw lined up. Can't tell if that lined up or not. Nope. God, it's so hard to see in here. Can't tell if I'm pushing on it or not. Do you make sure to purge out the PETG before starting the print with PLA? That's a good call. I always try to purge a little bit when I change filaments because that'll really trip you up, especially when changing materials. You'll run into some serious issues because if it's trying to extrude PETG at lower PLA temperatures, it's going to clog. Or could clog. Ugh. You're being a pain. Getting this screw lined up is a nightmare. I can see it shooting past. Stick this down there. Stop it. I think I got it. But I thought I got it before. Yep, got it. All right, I got it. Finally! Ay, 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 that was annoying. Okay, now I've got to slide this gantry all the way to the back. You're one of my inspirations for getting a printer. I'd love to hear it. I have glass on my Ender 3. I hate glass, personally. Can't stand it. PEI all the way for me. Alright, I kind of got that centered. Let's check the instructions here. Yeah, the instructions tell you to do what I said. Pull it all the way back. And now I can work on this way. Now I can work on squaring up and tightening this top section. Now I just tighten, tighten, tighten. The bit stayed behind. Tighten. What's the average build time for an Ender 3 V2? Hour, 2. First timer, couple of hours. Would you ever 3D print a bunch of different thumb pegs for archery releases? I would have to see what they look like to know. I'm never been an archery person. I have a shoulder injury from... I've had numerous shoulder injuries, so myself and bows never went together. It feels pretty good. I'm going to keep it to the back, tighten it a little more. Grab a hex wrench and give it a good last little tick of a tighten. What was the very first printer you bought? An Ender 3 V2. Or no, I'm sorry, an Ender 3, a basic Ender 3. A basic Ender 3 was my first printer. And still my go-to recommendation for other people's first printers. First timer here, I figured 2 hours. Yeah, that sounds pretty fair. It takes some folks longer, some folks shorter. So, it's mostly your own technical ability and whatever, which there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta learn somehow. Everybody's gotta learn somehow. Alright, I can tighten these up now. Oh, the screws in there are never to be seen again, so I hope those are tight enough. Oh well, we'll find out. Alright, now one of these 16s goes into here. It's a stopper for the X-axis switch. What you printing at the moment? I've got a, if you check out my weekly roundup, I've got a part for a Ghostbusters backpack printing right now. A friend of mine recently got into printing, bought his first Ender 3, and I've been helping troubleshoot things for him. He's having trouble with it, so I'm going to go over to his place and do a little, maybe video, hey, here's me helping a beginner troubleshoot their problems. But I don't have time to do that at this second, so I just started printing some of the parts for him so that he can get moving with the build on his what do you call it, cyclotron, whatever, for that. What are you building? I'm building a Voron V0. Wow. Okay, no. I was going to say, it seems like there's such a gap, but no, it's basically the same on both sides. Ish. Could be the stopper, too. Okay. Alright. Now, you folks on stream can get a view of the motor assemblies here. Currently printing a marble maze. Fun. What's everybody else printing today? I'm going to look forward in the instructions a bit here. Alright, next up is my last 2 extrusions that go on. I'm going to preload 2 M3 nuts on the inside and 3 on the outside. These are drilled for no apparent reason. You're printing the very big trash can, rad. You're printing that before me. Business cards. I saw something about a free iPad app. Some sort of Flexi Dinosaur. Okay, cool. I've really been missing the boat on all this Flexi stuff, and it's kind of hurting my content, I feel like. But I'm just not one for trends. I'm just not big on trends. You know, I kind of just do my own thing, and it works for me. And it doesn't really work for my growth, unfortunately. There are plenty of people who have vastly eclipsed me. But, you know, that happens. Just finished a yarn spooler, now printing a yarn bowl. Cool. My ex would have loved that. Design some business cards in Blender. They're making an impression. That's neat. Different take on the whole business card concept. Here's the fiddly part. Getting these screws in here and, like, keeping them. Getting them to stay where they gotta go without, like, falling and dropping them all over the place is annoying. Do you know how to change homing and mesh speed in Pronterface? You can't. Yeah, there might be a command for it, but I don't believe there is. That's a firmware setting, and I'm pretty sure that's that. Whatever it's set to in firmware is where you end up. Don't hold me to that, but I'm fairly sure that's the case. I just realized that I want to put LED lights in here. I haven't modded that into the design yet, but I'm going to. So I'm going to add a couple of extra M3 nuts in here, because I figure I'm going to mount them up here above the gantry. So in those go 2 extras. How would I change it? It's in firmware, and honestly, I avoid firmware discussion at this point because it's such a complex topic. I've tried to make videos about and it just hasn't worked out. I haven't had a chance to patina the iron prints yet. I'm going to try and work on that maybe today yet. Well, one M3 just went for a ride. That's why I bought extra. Well, I always have M3s around. Always dropping these things. Okay, got 3 in there, 2 in there. This just doesn't want to fit. What's the best calibration print? A benchy. A speedboat bench, or not speedboat. Just a regular benchy is a good calibration print. It's one of the reasons it's very common. That or a 20mm cube, like the Chep cube or something like that, is also very handy for checking accuracy. So, calibration cube or a benchy. 3D benchy. Tortured test trays. I've not printed any. I'd rather... a benchy tells me most of what I need in terms of that kind of stuff. Oh, iPad Bit. I was asking if there is a good free app to learn modeling that will translate to PC. Unfortunately, not really. There's Shaper 3D, SHAPR 3D on iPad, but it, to my knowledge, I don't believe it's free to try, but then you have to buy it. And I tried playing with it a little bit. It's neat, it's powerful, but I don't think it really translates to PC very directly. So I'm not sure that skills that will be very, like, cross-platform useful. Did that metal material ruin the nozzle? No! I think that machine needs a nozzle replacement anyway. It's one of the reasons I picked it to use the iron on. But it didn't do any damage to it that I'm aware of. I use temp towers to dial in temperatures, but a benchy's what I used to do. But it just uses so much material. A temp tower kind of works out a little better for me. But to each their own. Okay. I got 4 there, 3 there. In this goes. It's a bit of a tight fit, but we'll get it there. Come on. It's like shaving material out of there going in, but that's okay. It's because it's like... It's a tight fit. It's a tight design. It's meant to be. Oh, come on. You can do it. Are those tight? Before I cover up things. They are not tight. Great. I'm covering up stuff that isn't tight. I gotta pull that back out. Damn it! Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The stuff is not cheap. I was really close to ordering more, and I really want to order some... they also have brass and bronze filled, and I really want to order more of that, but that's even more expensive. A 2 kilogram spool of the brass is like $200. So I may order it because I think I've got a project in mind for it that I want to play with it. So I can be sure that it's right for it, but it's a lot of material. Did you see that one guy say you put the bearings in backwards? Yes, and he was correct, so I'm glad that he mentioned it. He was correct. I had missed one thing. I put in one wrong, so it was very helpful that he pointed that out. That feels like it's spinning. Lovely. That feels tight, but I better pull this other one out. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Yep, that wasn't very tight. Oh, that one was not tight. I think it missed its nut. That's why it's not tight. It's missing its nut. Come on. Come on out. You need to get a nut on you. Come on. Good thing I noticed that now. Or noticed this now. That would have been a real serious problem down the road. Damn it. These M3 nuts are always falling out. Okay, I've got to try and get this out of here. How's the tattoo shop project coming? Any cool updates? Not really. It's going, it's moving, and it'll be fun to show you stuff down the road. I've got a printer project in mind for that build. But not ready to discuss it just yet. So look out for it soon. Maybe I'll post about it on Patreon. So you'll see it, Nick. Some little behind the scenes stuff before we get to the project I'm hinting at. I think I just pushed the nut. No? Where'd it go? What printer is this? This is a Voron V0. Custom build sort of printer. What's up with this hex nut? Alright, push that in. Getting these little fiddly things lined up is the hardest part of this by a long shot. Okay. That's in there. Screw. Start the screw. Oh, come on! It's hitting. I know it's hitting. It's fucking... Ugh. Come on. Ay, 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 ay. This is the most time-intensive part of a Voron V0 build by far. This fiddly little shit. I need a flashlight on my phone, which is still on, thankfully. Okay, that is lined up. Screw in. Yes! Caught it. Finally. How's your dad's truck going? I haven't really had a chance to work on it. He's down in North Carolina, and I haven't been down there in quite some time. My parents both caught COVID, so we've been kind of keeping our distance for a bit now. They're okay now, but it's just... with my partner's work, we really can't risk things, so we've been kind of iffy for a little bit. Manhandling the whole printer. I mean, yeah, that's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. I am so close to 180,000 followers on TikTok. I keep seeing little notices of, oh, you got a new follower. I'm like, I'm so close to 180,000. All right. All right. That is moving pretty good. This one moves pretty good. Needs greasing, but... Helper in the shop's getting welding supplies. I've got a welding project coming off. That's part of the secret project. Welding and printing and all kinds of stuff. So, how many printers do you own? I don't know. 11, I think. He spent the last 45 minutes looking for an aluminum magnet. I mean, you know, gotta harass them somehow. Okay, moving on with the instructions. Back to these. Okay, now these top bars can go in. Now that I'm sure everything's tight up in there. You know, I'm going to loosen this front one just a hair. Try and give myself a little wiggle. Little wiggle. Oh, I can't. Can't do that. Doesn't help. There's a screw underneath of there. Oh well. Fitting this in here is just a challenge. Come on. Come on, little spreader bar. Get in there. All right. All right. That'll work. Ish. 1. %, 100% chance of getting an acetylene-filled glove. I'm not much for the whole shop pranks thing. Never been a fan, personally. I've worked far too many blue-collar jobs where everybody picks on the new guy, and I just don't care for it. I never really had a problem with it happening to me, both either just not happening or caring, but I just never care for it. It's one of those things I've just never cared for. Okay, those are in. Now it's M3x10s going in the ends of those. It's this top bar we just installed on there. M3x10. 4 of those. I've known him his entire life, or else I wouldn't mess with him. Okay, that's fair. We pulled a little bit of a fast one on my buddy that we're working on his tattoo shop. He was a little late the other day, showing up to work on the shop. So we told him that one of the guys walked off the job, took all his tools and left, and we had no idea why, and blah, blah, blah. He texted that guy. He's like, oh, I went home, and we were just all playing with him, and he, like, rushed to get in there, and then the guy was just standing out front smoking a cigarette when he showed up. And he's like, what? All right, that's going together. All right, 1, 2. 2 more. Whoop, don't want to pull that out of there. I would regret that. Come on. Yeah. Okay, leave that loose for just a second so I can get the other end in here. Here's what I'm working on right now, putting in the ends of those things. I don't know about the threads in this one. That feels a little iffy. Yeah, that doesn't feel good. Lovely. The other end got tight. Oh, the other 3 got tight. This one, I don't think so. What do you do with old filament rolls? At the moment, I'm just setting them aside and planning to eventually, like, I don't know what with them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any projects planned for them at the moment, but I want to. I want to make something with them. I've just been saving them to eventually do so. Okay. Yeah, there's those storage drawer things. Use them for cables. That's not a bad idea. It's like cables or extension cords. I need to figure out better storage for those. Extension cords mostly. Okay. Moving forward. Alright, now it's belt time. Oh, geez. The best fun. Equal belt tension is important. Let's look at this. Individual belt paths are stacked on top of each other, and crossing, often found in designs, is omitted. Okay. Equal belt tension is important to the proper function of a core XY. We recommend to run one belt to get the required length, remove the belt from the printer, and cut it with the second one. Cut the second belt to the same length. Okay. Alright. Well, I don't think it's time to cut that yet, so I'm going to move forward for the moment. I got to put together the X carriage. Yeah, I've been getting Polymaker filament lately, mostly, and they come with cardboard spools for the most part as well, which has been making me feel a little better. Then I can just toss them in recycling. That is a positive. Where's the afterburners? I got a whole box here with parts for this. Here we go. I separated out the parts for the extruder assembly. But the carriage plate's not in here. Here's the carriage plate. Here's the carriage plate. Double check this print. It looks pretty good. Alright. Good. Now I need to install 2 threaded inserts in here. Actually, 3 threaded inserts. Fire up the soldering iron. Bloop, bloop. How much do you spend on filament a month? Oh, I don't want to know. I'll figure it out when I do my taxes. Does printing make smells? If you are printing with some materials, it will, but PLA does not. If you're printing in like a basement with PLA, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Double checking, yeah. Okay, they do need to be recessed. That's good. I was concerned about that. But if you're printing with ABS or ASA, then yes, you'll... Switch camera, there we go. I switched camera too fast. In you go! ABS, ASA will create a noxious fume, which is bad for you, so as I'm I'm melting ASA right now. So, yay. I need to get a solder fume extraction hood or build one. Come on. Little more. Those look pretty well recessed. I just want to make sure they're good and square. This tip of mine is like hitting the print a little bit when I'm putting in threaded inserts in this design. Not quite intended for my specific threaded insert install tool. All right. That's inserted into there. Off goes the soldering iron. All right, now I got to stick 2 M3x8 screws in here. Now I'm looking, there are a lot of M3x8s that I haven't even touched yet. That's interesting. Oh, my flashlight's still on my phone. Anybody tell me? Okay, in goes one of those. In goes a second one. And now I gotta stick in a pair of the Make Beam XL nuts. These little things. Whoop, as I toss the other one. These little guys. Little bitty T-nut, but longer little bitty T-nut. Little bitty but long. Okay, that goes into this. Let's start. Another start. All right. Not 100% how that's supposed to help. Don't tighten, leave these loose. Feel like those should be longer screws, but what do you mean by switch cameras? I'm live on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/MandicReally, where we have multi-camera setup going on. Can't do that on TikTok currently, unfortunately. Okay, A-belt time. Time for the A-belt. Woo! Hey, that moves. Grabbed one of the moving parts. Where are my belts at here? I know I just... Ah, here we go. Belts. Belts, belts, belts. Are you drinking out of a measuring cup? Yes, I am. Tea's getting real strong now I left tea bags in there. All right. Now it's time to figure out this frickin' puzzle of belt routing. Yeah. Okay, the A belt starts where? I mean, technically it starts at the extruder, basically. It effectively starts at the extruder. I'm gonna stick it in here just a little bit. Stick it in here just a little bit. Let's bring this here. Ah, damn it, I can't do that. That's not gonna work. It's not showing which way the teeth should be facing. I would think it's toward this, because it's got teeth cut in it, so. Okay. I'm gonna start here. From the point of the extruder. Now I loop all the way around the machine. And you're new here, sound. Yeah. New to lives, that's all. That happens. I think this is going the right way, is it? Seems to be. Take a look back here. It really doesn't show which way the teeth are supposed to face on the belt. I'm gonna see real quick about another, like a Voron. Let's look at belt pictures. Let's look at belt pictures. That's a belted mod. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, okay. I'm doing it right. We're going the right way. We're going the right way. What's the biggest you have? My biggest machine currently is the Ender 3 or Ender 5 Plus. Okay, all the way around. Oh no, it's got to go. Huh? Am I on the wrong? I'm on the wrong one. Damn it! It's supposed to be in the bottom. Okay, bottom. No. Do I have this together wrong? Is this off to a great start? Oh, I see, said the blind man. No, I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's look back here a little bit. Make sure I didn't miss something here. That's right where it should be. Is this one supposed to be down below? No. So what the heck am I missing? This belt routing information is weird. Okay, belt A starts. Oh, I'm missing going forward. Jackass. I am missing going forward. All right. It's got to go that way. That's what I was missing. Duh. It's Core XY. It's got to wrap all the way around the frickin' frame. Okay. That's through there. Now it comes all the way around here. That's looking better. Now in and around the motor. I'd turn the motor. That'll help. Almost wish I had the motor powered up right now. Getting it to feed around here is going to be a challenge. Ah. Come on. Sorry, folks in chat. I've got to focus on this for a little bit, so I might be cursing, and that's about all for a couple of minutes. Okay, you look good. It's great positioning. I just got to get this to route around there, and it's currently... I don't know how to feed it through there. It's too tight. It's a bit too tight to just shove it through here. Come on, you can feed around there. Do it. You know you want to. Come on. There's like no way to reach in there and move it around or feed it around here. It's like no good way to feed this through here. Ah, okay, up through the top. And then push it down. There we go. That's it. If I angle it up, I can stick it up through the top of this thing, pull it out of here, loop it, and send it back. That seems to be the way. Ha-ha! All right. Got it. Got it. All right. All right, all right, all right. Audio alone would be upsetting. You are right. If somebody's just listening to the stream, they're probably real concerned right now. Alright. Belt pulled. I'm going to switch to this view. Ugh. All right. And then, bam. Okay. This makes way more sense now. All right, all right, all right. And I think we're pulled around there how we're supposed to be now. Okay, now, the fun part is they tell you to do this, then pull the belt out and measure off of the one that you cut first. So that's so fun. Okay, now I should be able to pull this. Yeah. Prussia just made a weird noise behind me. Okay, I think I'm pretty good on this right now. Pull this toward the middle. Give myself just a hair extra length here. Listening while working, it's definitely piquing interest. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. All right. Okay. Now I think we got this. I'm going to go ahead and... Do I have cutters right here? I've got flush cuts. Flush cuts it is. I'll leave myself just a hair extra length. Hopefully I don't regret this. Hopefully the stream doesn't end right here because I cut this wrong. And now I got to pull the belt completely out. And make the second belt the same size. There's enough extra belt. I should have left some more on there. Oh well. Oh well. I might regret that. We shall see. Alright, 2 belts, same size. 2 belts, effectively same size, like half a tooth different. And I think I got enough to make one more belt if I needed. And now I gotta do all that over again. Lovely. Okay. Sorry for hitting the microphone. Now I can start from this way, which is going to be easier since the belt is cut. Boom. That belt is started. Second round. Round. Now I got to feed it around the motor, which up through the top. My little trick here. Let me try and show the camera better. Feed it up through here. Back around. Like that. Alright. Now I can get back to routing it where it needs to go. Cool. Alright. And home run. Home run. Alright. Now they meet in the middle. And they got to get held in this mount here. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Figure out how the heck this is going to go together. Trying to get it as loose as I can to slip the belts into here while still holding. I don't know. I might have to take this completely off. This is weird. It's like not much room in this little holder to put the belts through. This thing is definitely such a fun, fiddly little build. Seriously though, I'm having fun for the most part. Hope folks are enjoying it on stream because I'm having fun talking to myself. It's kind of funny to consider that realistically, my job is just talking to myself all day long. It's a good thing I'm an expert at it. It's a good thing I got a lot of practice. I don't know how much through there it's supposed to stick. Like, just? The instructions kind of look like just. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to take this completely apart. I feel like they jumped the gun telling you to put this. This is the Voron V0.1. It's a full custom build. You have to piece it together. Nobody sells it. They sell kits, but that's it. Build. So it's a rather advanced build machine. So this is definitely not representative of how a, say, Ender 3 goes together, that's for sure. Okay, that's in there. Oh yeah, I probably should have cut these just a hair longer than this. This is gonna be fun. Stick this into here. I mean, I'm pulling it away from the thing, so that's giving me a little room to wiggle and work. From the x-axis, I mean. Alright, I'm going to stick screw in here and one of these nuts real quick. Just to start holding this together. Okay, one side started. I feel like the middle gap could be just a hair bigger on this. Try and give you folks a better view. So I can't see anything, so why does it matter? Stick this through here. Make sure, yeah, there's space in there. Just not much. Do you think there'd be any benefit to putting together the sub-assemblies, like the printed parts and heat sets and the bearings? You kind of can't, because there are numerous points throughout the build where, like, things overlap. Where if you put, say, a sub-assembly together, you might be blocking the threads for another thing. They really put the instructions in the order that it's got to go together. They do a pretty good job of that. I wish that it was built more in sub-assemblies where you could do that, where you could just pre-assemble half the components off the machine and then piece them together, but it's really not designed that way. It is more so designed to just, like, go together this way. Okay. Alright. Hopefully that belt pulls a little tighter than that. I don't think it will. We shall see. I feel like that belt needs to be tighter. I gotta pull those through there a bit more. Alright, threads just started on both of those. Let's see if I can push that through there. It is all linear rail, core XY. Yeah. It's a very small build area on this one. Let's feed this through here. Ah, I think I just lost it a little bit. Come on. Shove through your hole. There we go. That one's through there a little better. No, 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 no. Stay. All right. Yeah, it's got 5 linear rails, 4 motors if you count the extruder. It's a Oh, one of the belts just pulled out. You son of a bitch. Okay, I'm going to lock this one in place now. I think I got it pulled through there as much as I need it to be. More so. I probably should have made these, like, extra long so I could, like, really manipulate them. Glad I'm not the only one who talks to hardware while working on it. That's one of the fun parts about doing a stream, is I can justify talking to everything and talking to myself this much and it not seem like I'm crazy. Like, it's just, I'm doing my job, you know? I'm doing my job. If it looks weird to you that I'm talking to myself and to a machine, I don't know what to tell you. It's what I do. But yes, I talk to everything while I work on it. You know, if you can sweet talk a machine, it'll go smoother. Sometimes. Maybe. Partially. You never know. Buy it dinner first. Come on. Go through there. Getting this second belt in is probably the bigger challenge, because it's got to squeeze through a tiny opening with the first one right next to it, and you got to push that one out of the way while you do it. It's annoying. Go, go, go! Go, little belt star! Try and get a little more in the view here. I am not a fan of this belt clamp setup. Give you that much. I get it. It's going to hold great. Not a fan. Not a fan. Oh. The motor had slipped. That was fighting me a little bit. I'm getting warm in here. I turned the heat down, but apparently not enough. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. I don't believe in me. I believe in you, little belt. You got this. I don't know if I'm like pulling against myself, because it is kind of that. It's like a self-defeating puzzle. Yes! Stay. Got it through there. Okay, now I gotta put the second nut on here to lock the belt in place. How I'm gonna get the second belt in, I've got no idea right now, because these one nuts lock both belts in place. So I'm gonna risk losing the first belt when I go to put the second belt in together. All right. Woof. If I was to design a printer, what would I design? I would design a bed slinger, purely for ease. Purely for ease. I've been thinking about redesigning an Ender 3 into, like, I've been talking about doing the ultimate Ender 3 build for a while. And most of that would probably end up being, like, my own design. And I almost certainly will still do it. But, yeah. So, that's the thing. Okay. That's on there. I think that belt's going to need to be pulled tighter than that. But that's a bridge we will have to cross in a little bit. Time for the second belt. I haven't even looked at the belt routing on belt B yet. Let's look at this diagram once again. Clear as mud. Clear as mud. Okay. We go through here, but I gotta go forward with the belt. Yeah. Boom. Around here. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to design a Core XY, but I feel like it's a little over my head. Getting it just right is there's so many fiddly bits to get this all so straightforward. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm complaining about the belt routing in this, but I don't know how they'd have done it much better. Not the belt routing. They killed the belt routing. I'm complaining about the belt nuts, what holds the belt in place. Have you seen the Voron switch wire? Yes! It is a Core XY weird design of bed slinger. I might end up building one of those. We'll see how I like my 0 and 2.4 builds first. Yeah, so I might try to build one of those at some point. I don't know. I want to play around with building my own stuff too. Not just these quote-unquote kits. Okay, around here we go. Around there. And that's that. Okay. Okay. Routing on this one seems more straightforward. Oh, now I'm fighting the other belt. Okay. I was thinking about just because it's different. It is different. It's neat. I was looking at it this morning thinking about whether or not I want to build one. For anybody not familiar, the Voron Switchwire is a bed slinger type printer with a Core XY design. So basic concept is similar to an Ender 3, but not. Just not. Feel like I'm losing the belt? I'm going to hold that with a frickin' pair of pliers. Don't you go anywhere. You're not allowed to leave me. Okay, one in there. I'm going to feed this back just a hair so I can actually get the nut. Get this together. Stay. Just like that. Yes, that is very good of you. Okay. Good start, good start. I think, maybe. Oh, trying to get the nut started in this now, but there's all this tension from the belts is a challenge. Please don't cross thread. I gotta like hold that with a pair of pliers. I don't like the tension that's on that. Oh, it just seems to be how tight it gets once there's two belts in place. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Alright, belt number 2 time. Which it fell out of position on all the bearings, because it's the top belt, so it's got more gravity fighting it. Check back on chat here. Hello there, welcome to the stream. Kuba. Alright. I gotta pull the second knot off. I hope I don't regret that. You joined at the most fiddly, annoying part of the stream, I think. I hope. I hope it doesn't get worse from here. That would be pretty awful. Come on. Come on. You can do it, little guy. Girl, whatever you want. Robot. Ho ho, I got it through there. It's in there. It's started. Yes. It has begun. Pull that through there a little bit. Oh yeah. I'll pull a second belt through here too. Probably going to end up snipping these down, I think. All right. I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Everything looks like it's kind of routed. And nope, this one's fell down. This one fell down. Come on. Come on. Come on, you can slip into place. Yeah. All right. Now, up you go. Rad. All right, now I got to slip the second nut in here. I am probably pulling these tighter than they need to be, but I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to tighten this stuff. The belt tension, get it right once this is together, so... Yeah. All right. All right. That looks better. That looks better. I think we might have finally actually achieved it. Both belts are there. Let me triple check they're in all their bearing locations. There, there. Here, here, here. This one feels a little loose to my liking. I want to try and pull that a little tighter. I feel like I could loosen up both of them, actually. Or, well, the bottom one. No, I want to leave that one. I am not commenting on that statement there. I think it speaks for itself. I'm going to leave it there. And those who see it. And those who don't, you missed. Okay. Okay. I feel better about that. Now the belts are pretty equivalent, the way they are routed and everything, so this should be equal to tension them. Or more equal to tension them. Okay, tighten. Tighten. Alright. That was a pain, but we got it done. Oy, oy, oy. Ay, ay, ay. I should have used the freaking gold frame or something just so it shows up better for you folks. I'm going to go back to the instructions to show you what I was just fiddling with because you really can't see it. But if you see in the instructions here, over here where I have to feed both where I have to feed both belts in here and then like squish them next to each other and then put a nut on the backside of each one, total nightmare. But we're there. So, moving forward. Run the belt first, then I gotta install this onto the carriage here. So that's next. Four belts allow full 360. I don't know what you mean. This is a 2-belt system. It's just routed around so much that it looks like multiple belts, but it's a 2-belt system. That's how Core XY works. Core XY uses 2 motors that drive separately to move on X and Y both. So, I need the 2x6. Alright, for the 2x6s, these go through the top up here into the linear rail. Should have pre-threaded this. Make sure we're getting good and tight in there. Alright, alright. 2 belts does all that. It's a little hard to explain, but yeah. Look up Core XY. 2 belts allows for both X and Y motion. Yeah. Basically, depending on how each motor rotates independently will cause it to move. Let me try and show here. These two belts both allow this motion as well as this motion, all with just 2 belts and 2 motors. All right. Besides, you know, the tension of the belts and everything, it feels really good. Feeling good. Feeling good about this. I'll regret saying that, but here we are. Tighten that, and that, and that, and that. I feel like this one's sticking up quite a bit for some reason. Also, I feel like I might get screwed here because the Fabrico kit that I got has slightly different hardware than what the spec calls for. And I wasn't worried about it until right now, but we'll see. I only got a Fabrico hardware kit. That would have taken a room full of machines in the 60s. Ah, the future. You are not wrong about that. I mean, the processing power of this iPad and the fact that I'm streaming it to a computer, streaming it to... There's a lot of things that's just kind of amazing about this. All right, belt tensioning. Equal belt tension is important. Belt tension may feel higher compared to larger printers due to the small size of this. All right. Now I've got to mess with the tension wheels on the back of the machine here. Yeah, I've just about maxed this out already. I got to pull that belt through there stronger. I knew it. I had to pull the belt through farther. Feed that all the way back. I feel like this wasn't in its proper... Yeah. Yeah, that needs to be... Damn it. I'm not done yet. I didn't escape it yet. I got to go back and mess with these belts one more time. The green was definitely a good call. Especially, I'm planning on this machine living in my server rack in the office. And have like either a UV light or a blue light on it. Like a blue LED light. The tension wheels move an idler pulley. No, the tension wheels actually move the entire motor assembly. I'll show you in a second. Get this off of here. Yeah, the tensioners actually move. I'll show the camera here. This entire motor here is on this mount, and this nut moves the motor back and forth to pull tension on things. You can kind of see it here. When I tighten that nut right there, it's going to move that motor this way to pull tension on the belt. Okay, speaking of, I've got to pull more tension on the belt. I gotta loosen this. I'm gonna try and loosen this up and not take it off and see if I can't pull it tighter without having to take it apart. Yes, I can. Sorry for shouting. I'm just excited. That worked. Yes, that's so much better. Maybe a little tight, but I think I'm kind of stuck with that. I got one tooth. That feels better already. Well, just one. 2 teeth. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's the ticket. I want to release 1 tooth. I want to make sure that the belts can do their job, like the tensioners can do its job, and I'm not over-tensioning right off the bat. I feel like that's probably silly, and the belt's going to stretch, so I should actually... Yeah, it's like 1 tooth difference between it being, like, loose, or where I get some wiggle in the belt, or just going. Try and pull 1 more tooth out of this. One. One. I could almost pull one more. Almost pull one more. Boop. Boop. All right. Now we're getting to the point where the tensioner should really do its job. Okay. Now I can tighten that nut. So that's holding the belt good and tight. All right. All right. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Okay. Now I got to put the screws that hold this to the gantry in place. I think I'm going to put a little Loctite on these ones. I think, because they're going to be hidden under the motor. And I feel like that's a recipe for a problem. A little bit of blue Loctite on there. Start that in there. A little bit of blue Loctite on these. Alright, I'm going to pull out the other two I already put in, put a little Loctite on those. Double back on it. Okay. Come on. This one's like just sitting in there a little too nicely. Yeah. Alright, a little bit of blue Loctite, not a whole lot. Don't want to go crazy, don't need to go crazy. It's a tiny little screw. Whoop. Tighten. Tighten. Do I plan on completing this during this live, or do I have another round? I've got another couple rounds. This is a long process. I'm going to have to custom build the wiring harness for this thing, so... yeah, not going to be complete this go around. I wish it was, but nah. I wish. I wish. All right. Let's try tightening up the belt now. Tightening this nut. That one is the top belt, I believe. My hands are slimy from the frickin' Loctite. I probably should have pulled another tooth or two on that belt. Because I'm like 3/4 of the way through my belt adjustment right now, and I don't feel like I'm really as tight as I probably should be. But I don't want to push it. I'm going to loosen it up. And try pull one more tooth through there. I know, so boring for the stream, I'm sorry. But I gotta get this right. Gotta get this right. Alright, let me try loosening this side a little bit. See if I can't pull that through there. Nope, that was a bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea. It's starting to fall through there. Oh no. Alright, we're going to pull this side again. Alright, I'm pulling this belt through here. One more tooth. Boom. Boom. That seems pretty equivalent on both of those. Now let's try it. I got a whole tooth out of those. Excuse me. My tea has run out. My voice is going to start to be affected. I don't know how people go for like 24-hour streams without killing their voices. Got zero idea. All right. All right, let's pull some tension on this. Let's show TikTok here. Is this the printer that you printed? Yes, this is the printer that I am printing. Printed, yeah, yes, it is. Okay. I gotta turn this tension wheel, which tensions this top belt. I still feel like that's not quite right. This is such a learning process. I don't like how this feels. So I'm going to loosen that just a little more. I'm going to take another tooth out of this belt. One more tooth out of the belt. So exciting, I know. Excitement! On today's episode, we tighten a belt. How much did all the materials cost to build this? Do you mean the parts going into it or the printed materials? It only took me about 2 spools of filament to make, so that is the cheap part. I actually did... People asked previously how much this build cost me, and I hadn't added it up as of last stream, but I did today. I did before today's stream, so... The parts... my version, the way I configured it, cost me just under $1,000. It was like $990 something. But there were a handful of things that I bought multiple of. Hold on a second. I'm pulling 2 freaking teeth. Oh, whoa. Now they're slipping. Boop. Oh. I'm gonna hold that myself. Hold that one. I'm at the point where I'm starting to pull tension, so they want to pull back in, so I gotta tighten them while I'm here. Yeah, you can buy kits cheaper, like build kits for these. Build kits are like half that much, but I didn't skimp out on a handful of parts. I'm gonna try to pull one more tooth. I'm at the point where I'm pulling the belt a little tight, so it wants to feed back in after I pull it. So I'm folding it over and tighten it while it's folded over. There we go. I think I got it that time. All right. We're going to go with it this time. I'm not doubling back right now. Okay. Yeah, so the parts that I configured for this build cost me like $990 something. But you could probably remove like $100 worth of extras from that, because like I bought a heater cartridge. It came in like a 4-pack or something like that. So I have heater cartridges for other builds, and I've got, you know, thermistors for other builds. Some of the stuff came in multiples, so. But yeah, this itty bitty little thing is going to cost me about $1,000 plus my time. Which means the bigger machine is not going to be cheap. Hoping I can get a sponsor or two on board for that one. To finish out the build process. Or the parts ordering, at least. Okay. I'm running it back and forth a little bit so I can, like, check it. Make sure that I'm getting the belt's kind of seated where it needs to be seated before I pull tension on it. Now I'm pulling tension. That's getting better. I'm almost maxed out on attention. I feel like I might be a little overdoing it. Thanks for uploading that extruder mount. Works great on my Ender 3. Rad. Yeah, because this is my job. This is how I can justify this. If it was just a hobby, this would be hard to justify overall, for sure. That is very fair. Alright, motor mount's tight. Time to adjust the other belt. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, I might have pulled that a little tight even. I was adjusting the opposite belt I thought I was. I think I could loosen that. Nah, I'm gonna leave it for now. I will decide if it's gonna stretch in or what. I'm concerned or curious about that. Whew, this one's pulling tight quick. This one's got some more adjustment life left in it, I think. These nuts are like just enough that I can grab, but not quite. Alright. I think that's about... It feels pretty equivalent to me. I might need to loosen those up, but I'm going to give them a second, let them stretch in a little. Under some tension. I printed the trash can. Yeah, I always back off. I should back off a little bit, but I'm going to give them, since everything's brand new, I'm going to give it a second. Let it kind of settle. And then I'm going to probably back off a little bit. I agree with you. I always over-tension belts. So I printed the trash can and barrel can holders the other day. They're super awesome. Love to hear that. Thank you. All right, belt routing is on there. Yeah, that feels a little tensiony, but I'm going to double back on that. All right, now it's time for print bed stuff. All right, I'm going to set this aside for a second. Boom. How often do you have to change a belt out? It should not be often at all. That belt should live in there for probably the lifetime of the machine. They don't last a lifetime. They absolutely don't. But, yeah. Like, I only have one machine currently that I think really needed a new belt. It's hidden up there. It's an old MakerBot. That's like... That one is like... 10 years old. And it could use a new belt. But that's a pretty old machine in printer terms. So... Alright, I gotta put... threaded inserts into these. 1, 2, 3. Fire up the soldering iron. These little bitty guys. See if I can get you folks a better view of this. Waiting on the soldering iron to heat up. Oh. And that should be hot enough. This is PETG, so it should go pretty easy. Hopefully I don't regret using PETG for these. I use PETG for all my appearance parts. All the pretty green stuff is that, so... Hoping I don't regret that. Time will tell. I feel like that could set just a little better. Have you seen the Cetus 2? Yes, I have. It's an interesting looking machine. I feel like it's different for different sake. But you know what? Hey, that's the way things go sometimes. Sometimes to innovate, you gotta just be different. All right, those 3 are set. Rad. Magnet application on the print bed. Yay, I'm not looking forward to this. Alright, here's my print bed. What's in there? Oh, it's sitting on a piece of plastic on there. Alright, here's the... I'm using this bed from Precise Printer Parts. New bot software I'm not sure what you're asking there. Where is my heated bed? I don't know where I put my heated bed at the moment. I gotta find that real quick. Let's see. Here's the magnet for the bed and the PEI sheet. It gives 20 likes per second. Oh, that's kind of a mess. We need calibration tools for belts. I do not disagree with that. Or like a better calibration guide for many machines. Just like be specific about what you're looking for in your machine, you know? Here's the power supply for this thing. Where'd I put the bed? The heater. I have it. I know I have it. That's spool filament. That's the drag chain. This is the heater element for the hot end. Oh. Is it in this bag? It's in this bag. It is such a cute little bed. It's so tooty. Look at that. There's a little heater element for it. It's so cute. Alright, there's grease for the slides. Alright, here's the heater element. The problem is my bed has a slot for the thermistor to go in the top of the bed. I wonder if I think I should just leave this here and put a secondary thermistor in place of this. I don't think I'm going to regret that. Let me double check what I have thermistors. Yeah. Here's my thermistors. I think I can get away with doing that. Then, if I'm not happy with that, I can always... there is a way to rig up a belt tension kind of setup with a torque wrench, but it might be a little fiddly with how small these belts are. There is ways of doing that. Okay, here's a thermistor. This was intended for the hot end, but it'll be fine living here. Just saw the roundup for the week and that the poo rocket has the spot for holding used bags. Yes, it does. Oh yeah, it's like this is definitely like designed for this to live here just like this. Let me see this bed from Precise Printer Parts actually has a location for the thermistor in the top of the bed. Just like that, so it can live up here and get much closer, more accurate readings. It's cool to see the upgrade. Awesome. Love that you like that. Also, I forgot to mention in there, the base for the poo rocket fits the old design. So if you don't want to print the whole rocket to carry the poo bags, here, I got it right here. This base on it will unthread, and you unthread the original one, thread it together, it'll fit on the old one. It's not a perfect fit, like it threads on fine. It doesn't match the body right, because I'm matching this body. But it will fit the old one, so you can get that poo bag holder on the holder on the old one. Do you have a 3-in-1 printer? I do not. I don't care for like all-in-one, you know, it's one of those like master of none kind of things, in my opinion, where anybody I know who has a Snapmaker only uses all the features of it because they were sponsored to do so. Anybody I know who owns one, yeah, don't. What happened to the printer? I'm working on... It's on the floor. I'm working on some other parts. Time for the print bed. I just feel like the snap maker is just a matter of, like, you know, jack of all trades, master of none thing. I'm going to put a little spot of thermal grease in here to help the thermistor work a little better. That was a little much, probably. This stuff always flows so frickin'... The Slice Engineering thermal paste just, like, flows out of there. Alright, thermistor is sitting down in place-ish. Not really, but heading in the right direction. Do you know the whole phrase for that? I forget. It's something like... Something along the lines of jack of all trades, master of none, but better than master of one. Something like that. I mean, I call myself the mad scientist of all trades. Like, I don't have any problem with that. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not necessarily an expert in any one thing, but I have a very well-rounded background, you know? Say go and I'll turn on... it's definitely sending a heck of a lot of likes. I see that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, you can stop that. I'm worried TikTok might flag how fast that's hitting. But it works. It definitely works. All right. Ah, shit. There's bolt hole locations. This magnet doesn't have them cut out. I gotta cut them out. Damn it. Damn it. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm not mad about it. Just want to be sure of it, like, it doesn't, like, flag me for something, you know? Gotta mark it, and I gotta cut these out. I'm gonna go grab a hole punch. Almost crashed my iPad. I mean, that's hitting hard, so I think you could probably tone that down a little bit and it wouldn't hurt, you know what I mean? Hit like 5 likes a second or something, it'd probably be easier on your end and maybe a little less, because that's like doo-doo-doo territory. Okay, I will be right back. How about a welded and fabricated 3D printer hot rod? I don't quite know what you're asking about. I need to get back to fabrication. I have a fabrication project coming up soon. I'm gonna be doing more stuff with. I'll be showing that once we get to there. But yeah, all right. 1 second. I will be right back. I gotta go grab some tools out of the toolbox. I can put my "Be Right Back" screen on here. Well, now you get. Welding is essentially 3D printing. The stream kind of hiccuped there for a second, but it seems like we're still going good. I grabbed my old hole puncher set here. Let's check the size I need. Looks like it's probably just about right. We'll set it up. Possibly. Welding is essentially 3D printing. You're not wrong. There are like 3D printer robots basically that all they are is a welding arm for like metal 3D printing. That looks pretty good. It might be a size up from what I need. I'm gonna step one size down. Okay, sorry for the racket I'm about to make, folks, if it really makes it. Also, sorry for the music there. Sorry about that. Yeah, there are 3D printers that are effectively just robot arm welders. Sorry about that noise, folks. but that looks like it's going to do the trick. I'm going to turn down my microphone real quick. Yeah, music was too loud. Sorry about that, folks. Let me turn down my microphone while I hammer this, and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. But now I've got holes punched into this thing. There weren't any holes in it. I bought an AliExpress PEI sheet, so it just didn't come with the holes that it should have in there. Okay, where's my hardware kit for this bed? Somewhere on the table in front of me is what I need. Does punching deform the plate? I didn't punch on the plate. I was just punching the magnet. The very edge of the magnet looks like it might have deformed a little bit. I might snip it, but for the most part, no, it shouldn't. This precise printer parts bed that I have has a location or locating points for pins, for stopper pins in this thing, so I can put the bed back on easier. So I'm gonna put those in real quick. See if I can switch cameras. Yeah. All right. Put a little Loctite on those so that they don't back out on me. Is that the right size? It is not, but it's slightly spinning it in there. 2.5. There we go. Why does that one have a different hole size in it? Is that intended for something different? I'm not gonna put that one in there. It's got a different hole size. Weird. There's one that's the same thread but different. Favorite design I've done? I don't know anymore. I really don't know at this point. Like, I really like the Krampus design that my partner and I put together. It was really not a very popular design, but I liked it. I was a fan. Am a fan. Let me clean off a little of this thermal paste here. Magnet doesn't have to fight that to stick. Put just a little spot more of it in here. Come on. Yep, there we go. Alright, now it's time for the magnet. Kyle Cup was very popular. I was never very happy with the Kyle Cup. I didn't care about, like, it was just fun, you know? And it was really great to have. That was like the first thing that really succeeded for me, so that was great. But you know, I'm not in love with the Kyle Cup by any means. Alright, let's get this magnet sitting on here just right. Alright. I gotta mush it down. When I did a sale, what was my most popular one? I think the #1 seller from the sale, I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it was grenades. I'm pretty sure, oh, well, no, 10mm sockets. It was 10mm sockets. Grenades were a close second. Yeah, 10mm sockets were the most popular when I did that limited run sale. I think the 10mm socket and the Switch Joy-Con cups are the ones that have gone the most viral, I want to say. Overall, well, the Kyle cup originally, probably. That's definitely my most downloaded design, is the original Kyle cup. I'm just pressing this thing down, making sure it's really good and adhered on here. Sight across it, see if there's any air bubbly spots. Almost looks like a high spot right where the thermistor is. But it seems okay. It seems okay. Alright. Okay. Build plate is on there. Now my PEI sheet can be bumped against those little Allen heads and boom. Yeah. Have you messed around with any of the 3018 style CNCs? I'm tempted on the 3020 Pro Max. I haven't messed with any CNCs. Nope. I've sold about 3 dozen Switch cups, and it's the most popular by far for me, and I'm just selling local. Rad, Nick. I love to hear that. It's rad that you're selling that many of them locally. I did a limited run of them, and I sold probably about that many myself online. But then I know a bunch of resellers have been having really good luck with them too, so awesome. Love to hear it. Okay, time for the heater pad. Heater pad goes on the other side. I'm gonna wipe this off real quick. I'm glad to hear you sold that many, Nick. I'm glad it's working out for you. You know, I always worry when people join the reseller program that it's just not going to be for them, and then I'm going to lose them as a reseller, which both loses me income, and I also just feel bad about it, you know? I want people to be successful selling my stuff. I don't want them to not be. So, that's great to hear. It's best for everybody if you folks have success selling them, so. Okay. Not quite sure how this is supposed to sit on here. Kind of right on skirting the edge of all the frickin' holes. Alright. I got 2 extra wires versus what they're intending. I'll ask you in a private message, but I'm allowed to sell them to a store. If you're talking like a local gaming store or something, I don't know. That's a good question. Let's discuss that privately. Let's discuss that privately. So, because I know I have a couple of stores, like a tabletop gaming type store that is one of my resellers and such. But yeah, we'll talk about it. What is the 3020 Pro Max? Tell me about that thing. I'm unfamiliar. We were looking at getting a CNC, but then we had some stuff come up. We were looking at getting a CNC set up in the shop, but it just didn't work out. Okay, next step would be putting a thermal fuse on this thing. Gonna admit, I don't have a thermal fuse for this. I didn't get one. I forgot to order it. It's the one part of this build I forgot to order. And then I just said, you know what? I'm gonna try running without it for a little bit. I shouldn't be running this thing, like, when I'm not monitoring it, so. How many printers do you have? Currently, 11. Okay, M3 by 40 screws now. I actually just need 3 of them. 3 M3 by 40. Ah, that's what the lock nuts are for. All right. Boop. One in there. One in there. Will you adopt me? No. I don't want... I got snipped for a reason. I got snipped for a reason. Stream's been going longer than I might have expected myself to have lasted. I'd like to get this bed in the machine. What you building? I am building a Voron V0, as somebody just noted there. Yeah. A Voron V0. Alright, I need an adjustable wrench or something to hold these nuts. I know I have one here. Where'd it go? There it is. I don't think the electric screwdriver is going to have the strength for this. That's too big. 3020 is from Sainsmart. Oh, okay. A little bit beefier with linear rails and such. We were looking at the Bantam Tools CNC, which is quite a bit more expensive than some of the other options on the market. We were looking at the Bantam Tools one. And I spoke to the owner of the company. I actually learned that the owner of Bantam Tools, the CNCs, is also the former owner of MakerBot, the 3D printer company. What's the point of a small printer like this? Yeah, small parts, rapidly printing small parts, and it's also just a very fast printer. So I should be able to print like basic things fairly quickly. So part of the idea is to prototype my designs a little quicker. And just for fun, too. I'm going to keep this in my office, most likely, so... the battery on my frickin' screwdriver's out. Of course now it goes. I should have charged it before the stream. Is there a V1 or a V2? Yes, there is. The V2 is a big machine. It's like a full-size machine. It's the next one I will be building. The 3020 is closer to $500. Okay, yeah. The Bantam is like $5,000. So, yeah. First stream I haven't had audio issues. Don't jinx me. Well, I finally invested in some more equipment that should alleviate such issues. So that's how I'm doing multi-camera, and it also my old capture card I think was the source of my audio issues. Oddly enough, weirdly, didn't make any sense, but it was. So now I've got the new capture card, and it seems to be doing good. Not near as good as the Bantam or Nomad. Yeah. I mean, realistically, I probably only need a lower end one, like a more entry-level one, but if I'm going to get a CNC, I want to be able to, like, make motorcycle parts, and my partner's been getting into making enamel pins, and that's, we'd like to be able to make those in-house. Because right now, you know, she's dealing with companies in China, and the shipping can be annoying, and blah, blah, blah. So we would like to be able to bring that stuff in-house. Alright, tight. But then the problem for me is, like, the Bantam, I like the idea of the Bantam taking up not much space and being a benchtop CNC. But then for the cost of it, it's like $5,000–$6,000 for the machine. And then it's almost like, well, at that point, should I just invest a couple thousand more into, like, a Tormac machine, which will allow me to do much larger parts? Because, yeah, it's absolutely... the money's no joke, but in the same regard, if you're already spending $6,000, should you just spend some more? I don't know. Do you or anyone else know where to start for laser engravers? Don't get one of the ones that goes onto a 3D printer. That's step number one. Go with a Bridgeport. Yeah, But yeah, but if you get a good CNC setup Bridgeport that's like in good working order, it's going to cost you $10, $15, $20,000. I have a good friend of mine who has a old Bridgeport that he bought it from a company that remanned it, like they rehabbed it, refurbished, and put a full CNC system on it, and it cost him $20,000. This is the build plate. Yep. And, you know, that I'm not looking to spend. But it would, and the other problem is the space. I can't fit that into my workshop right now. One of the little Tormacs I could, and the benchtop setup, I absolutely can. But a full Bridgeport, ugh, I almost need a machine room for that, and that's down the road. I'd love to, and it'll happen. It will happen eventually, but not right now. Love my Bridgeport mill and lathe. Yeah, all of my experience on machining is manual, with like old Bridgeports and such. Oh, I meant manual. I think the 3020 could get close with a couple of $100. You know, I should really do like a printed CNC or something. I should really just do it. Try it out, see how it is before I go spending a bunch of money on something else. All right. All right. Heater pad is on there. Little 60-watt honey badger. Heater pad on. Magnet on. Slap the PEI on there, even though it doesn't matter. Have a little X-carve that is great for small aluminum parts. Okay. That's probably all I really need. I don't know. All right, time to put the bed in the machine. Which means bring the machine back up. Okay, I need the bed springs. Which are in the box here. Ah, magnets are stuck to the springs. All right, these each sit into here. Boop, boop, boop. All right, they sit into these little pockets here, and then the bed sits atop of that. And the wiring for the bed goes through a little channel back here. So I gotta feed this through first. Through here. Down, down. Missed a hole. Come on, you can do it. Seems like my dimensions are a little off here. Let's check this out. Could just be the way the screws tightened. Come on. You can do it. Any little CNC can do aluminum with enough patience. That's a good point. You know, it's more about speed or size of your cuts, and yeah, that's a fair point. Boy, it seems like the dimensions on this bed are a little off. Like, this screw at the front might be a little hard to see, but it's like angling forward. I'm not happy about that. There we go. Maybe. Kind of. Possibly. This back one, the hole's a little chewed up from the print. What kind of print are enamels made? Metal or enamels made of? I don't know. Why so small? Speed. Mostly speed. So small it can be fast and handle small prints without much issue. Okay. I don't like how tight this is. This back corner is fighting me to go through the print. Yeah. I'm gonna try and see up in there. Put the bed up. I can get a better view of what's going on here. Yeah, it's like right there. Just doesn't want to go through the hole. Go in your home. Don't you know that's your home? Ugh, I do not like this. It feels like these parts are off. I think maybe these extrusions are a little long. This has actually got to go forward a hair. To seat down in. Don't like this. Don't like any of this. I think I gotta pull this back up out of here and hog out this hole a little. Okay. Let me try and stick a screw through that and see if this hole's clogged up. This hole's clogged up. It's real clogged up. I'm gonna tap a hammer through that, or hammer tap a screw through that. To hog the hole out a little bit. There we go. You know, precise stuff. Hammer it. High precision. Alright, that's better. Now let's try this again. Springs back in position. I love that I'm joining in just as you're hammering on a printer. Don't mind me, Jarob, it's fine. I've got it in hand, I swear. Maybe. Hey, that went together quicker already. I'm most worried about this one corner. This one corner is a little tight. If that doesn't work, get a bigger hammer. If I get a bigger hammer, this printer isn't going to get finished at all. Alright. That hole needs to be drilled out. It's just too freaking tight. I gotta grab a drill real quick and drill that. It's just too tight. It's the print, the bottom layer must have elephant footed into the hole a little bit. So let me grab a drill and drill bit real quick. I'll be right back. This'll fix it. This'll fix it. Yeah, that's a good size. Line up with the hole. That's totally normal, right? With enough force, anything fits. Yes, well, does it fit and not break is the question. I feel like something is still off here about these dimensions, but that is not really a problem at this moment, or not something I'm dealing with at this moment. All right, now it went through there pretty well. I want to hog that out just a hair more. Since this is the first Voron build I've seen, everything you do is normal. Good call. That is fair. I get that. Okay. We'll hog that out just a hair more. Should have gone one size bigger on the bit. Totally normal. Totally normal. I definitely know that the Voron instructions called for a drill. Alright. Now, get this together. Come on. I'm worried. Like, it's fitting through. I just am worried because this is the bed leveling. I've seen a few Voron builds. It's normal. Okay. That makes me feel a little better. I'm just worried that the bed leveling is going to be a pain. Like, because it's going to get bound on the screws. I'm going to get one size bigger drill and drill all the holes just a hair bigger. Bye, spring. This is a 1/32 larger bit. I think the first serious upgrade I'm going to do on this thing is probably going to end up being the Kigurumi, the metal belt or metal bed assembly, because this uses printed parts on the bed. And that assembly is an all-metal press brake bent setup. I feel like that's probably in my future. The way this is all going together. Or it's going together. Hey, that's a little better. Where'd I get the bed? This is from Precise Printer Parts. So I also wonder if the bed's not off. I haven't installed the other bed that I got from them yet. Still tighter than I like. This back one is just not happy. It told me it's not happy. Precise. It could be the printed parts. I don't know. Maybe my dimensions in the print are off a little bit. I don't know. Maybe this is just how every Voron V0 goes together. You're not using the factory bed that came with it? There is no such thing as a factory bed. Okay, there we go. That's better. I did not buy a kit. This is fully self-sourced. This bed is one of the premium ones from Precise Printer Parts. So, I'm not 100% if their dimensions are a little wrong or not. But, or if it's in the print, my print personally doing it, I don't know. It could be a couple of things. I'm not going to blame them yet. I will definitely check. Yeah, not a kit. No kit. I fully self-sourced my build. How precise is precise? Bet they used a bigger hammer. Yeah, that's a good answer. Alright. That's all started. I can turn the nuts and everything moves freely. Back corner's still not thrilled with it, but I will mess with that later. Alright. Now, the wiring has to go underneath here. Bed wiring. I'm gonna get the thermistor through there first. I got a kit from LEO and ended up with 2 hardware kits. Huh, interesting. My hardware kit came from Fabrico. And it seems like it's going to have a lot of extra, but I'm not sure yet. I thought it said that it didn't come with extra, but it sure looks like it. Alright. I'll tell you what, the wiring on this frickin' bed is a little chunky. A little chunky. Alright. That might be a problem going through the... Extra parts means you built it better than the engineer. Yeah. Alright. Turn it on its upside so I can look for the zip tie holes. Zippy tie holes. Zippy tie yay. Alright. You know what? I just realized I want to run a ground. I want to run a bed ground. Well, might be a little late for that at this point. I'll do that when I change to the Kigurumi belt, or Kuragan. I forget how the heck you're supposed, how it's said or spelled. Oh, lovely. The zip tie holes are a little tight. There we go. 1 through. Two through. Alright. Now I can get the wiring into its position underneath this little thing here. Let me switch cameras. Oh, you're not going to see anything because of the bottom plate. Duh. Duh. Zip tie that to a little cable management hole. Smack the acrylic on the bottom. And number 2. Alright. I'm going to leave those. Nah, I'll snip them off. Wasn't really any reason to leave them. Blew my Ender 3 screen yesterday. You got the belt pulleys fixed. It's funny, I did the exact same thing. Yeah, I looked back in the instructions. It's right in the instructions. I just mixed it up. I did get it fixed, though. Thank you for pointing that out. That would have screwed me later on. Blew my Ender 3 screen. Any recommendations? Just get a stock replacement one. Big Tree Tech has the TFT 35, but you really have to run a Big Tree Tech board with that. And honestly, I had a lot of problems with that board. Or not the board. I like the board. The TFT 35 I had a lot of problems with. So really, I just recommend stick with the stock replacement screen. Alright, cable chain time. Doesn't say how long to make the cable chain. Because I've got a long cable chain. Like, mine is not stock whatever length, or what they intended, I guess. Alright, I'm all the way to the stopper. I'm going to check this myself. So, if this is in here, I'm going to hang it off the edge of the table so I can kind of figure out where I'm at here. Seems like there. I'm going to pop this apart real quick. I've got enough, like a double length here. I just bought a cable chain on Amazon for this, so... Yeah, flathead in my screwdriver, I think. Pop this link apart on this chain. Half apart. Other half. That seems awfully short. Let's check. Nope, that looks pretty right to me. Maybe it could stand to be one length longer, but I'm going to find out in a second. I'm sure you've been asked 1,000 times, but what was the cost of this Voron build? I self-sourced mine and got all the parts that I wanted and blah, blah, blah. I did the math this morning. It's somewhere around $900. The total was like $990, like $997. It's like almost $1,000, but a couple of the things I bought came in like multi-packs. So like I've got multiple thermistors, I've got multiple heater cartridges, stuff that, like, you know, I'll be able to use in other builds. So I kind of deducted some expense from that to get down to the 900. I'd say 900. I don't think this heater, this wiring is going to fit through here with the sheathing on it. Let's find out. Just. Ugh. I've got to fit multiple wires through here, and I don't know. So I've got two thermistors on here. I might have to remove the sheathing from this wire, the bed wiring. Let's try and feed just my thermistor through here first. Can't wait to see it in action. Me either. Me either. Just trying to feed this thermistor wire through here right now. I don't want to depin it if I don't have to. Looks like I might have to. Oh, it helps if I wiggle the chain just a little bit as it passes through. Just a little bit. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Come on. One more link. You got this. You're right there. Bam. Alright, there's the first one. Now for the second one. See, the problem is I added a different thermistor to this thing. So now I've got two thermistor wires and the two heater wires for the bed passing through here. And I don't know if it's going to fit. Do I have any tape on hand to tape the end of this? I don't see any. I know what I'm going to do. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab some heat shrink and a heat gun. Heat gun acquired. Heat shrink acquired. Okay, I'm going to put some heat shrink on the end of this wire to make it easier to slip through the cable chain. That way the wires aren't binding up going through there, fighting me. It's a little trick I use when I'm doing custom sleeving on wiring for cars. And I think it's going to come in real handy right here. Just got to plug in the heat gun. I'm using non-adhesive lined heat shrink, so it'll be easy to pull back off. Hopefully it stays stuck going through there. Alright. Now I'll try and shove it through this chain. The sleeving on this might really fight me. I might have to cut the sleeving off this. Oh, oh. Nope. It's gonna work. Maybe. Maybe. That's a great tip, thanks. No problem. Yeah, that way the wires can't splay out at the end while they're going through there. Sometimes I'll just use a little quick wrap of electrical tape. It's really good for like the nylon braided, the sleeving you gotta kind of like slinky down, the Chinese finger trap, whatever you want to call it. Do you have any idea what print speed will be with this build? I really don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, tape can fall off. If you leave a little extra wire length on there and use the adhesive type heat shrink, it stays better. This is like just a little too tight with all these wires. This sleeving is so thick. I don't want to take it off if I don't have to, but I feel like it might actually cause me problems. So I think it's coming off. I'm a little worried that the sleeving is going to like push the other wire, the other thermistor wires into the cable chain and cause it to like bite. Ever so carefully cutting the sleeving. Trying to make sure I'm not getting any wire in there. Fiddly stuff. Nice mutton chops, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. That is the opposite of what I mostly get told. Online, anyway. I don't want to remove this sleeving, but it's... Okay, there's the wires. I want to get those out of there so I'm not worried about hitting them. There they are. Okay. Hey, welcome to the stream. Okay, that's off of there. Now I can feed these through here. That should go better. That is so much better. Lovely. All the wires through this chain, just how they're supposed to be. Now I gotta shove them into this little hole where they're supposed to be on the machine. Welcome to the stream, Mars. How goes it today? Ew. Almost felt like I just burned my arm. I don't know what I put it against. Heat gun's over there. I have an Ender 3. Do you recommend any beginner resin printers? I mean, there's a lot of entry-level resin printers. I have a Kingroon KP6 that they sent me, and I have a Anycubic Photon Mono. I would say either one of those is actually a decent choice. Was it lava? No, I don't think it was lava. Not a lot of the lava flows in Philadelphia, so I don't think it was that. Thank you for the concern, though. Okay. Now I should be able to get this cable chain into its home. Maybe. Possibly. Probably not. And the cable chain's backwards. Okay, there we go. Now, I gotta feed these wires down through the bottom. Soldering iron. Now soldering iron is in its base station on the other edge of the table. I don't know. I think I just rested it on the edge of this frame in a funky way and it felt like burning, but it wasn't. Just a weird sensation. I don't know. That's my best guess. I'm sticking to it for the moment. Alright. Into here you go. Back into your little home. Boom. Alright. There's that. Now, down into here, this goes into its little mount location. Alright. There we go. We are cable chained. I'm going to feed it up. Haunted workshop. Yeah. That's it. You figured it out. Philadelphia is an old city, you know. A lot of things can happen in an old city. Alright. If anything, maybe it looks like I might be a link extra or something. I don't know. But that seems pretty good to me. It's not binding. Alright. Cool. We are low power mode on the phone. It's kind of killing it. What's the build area of this? This Voron, the Voron V0, but I am building, has a 120 by 120 by 120 build volume. 120 millimeters cubed. So, size of a big PC fan. Alright, we are cable chained. End stop in the rear panel. Okay, I've got to do some wiring and soldering from here on, so we are going to wrap it up here. We're reaching the point where it's time to start doing the wiring, so it's either going to be another stream or I'm going to have to do that off stream. Because that's going to be fiddly, time intensive, especially doing a clean job of it, and yeah, just not going to happen right now. Yeah, the wires get a little almost pinched at the bottom here. I think I got to pull this one tighter. What size nozzle are you going to use? I'm going to start with a 0.4. Because I want to do a speedboat benchy, and you're supposed to run a 0.4 nozzle on that. And we'll play with it from there. Alright. Been ages. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. I'm just about to head out. It is going. I am extremely hungry now. So I'm definitely about to go bug my partner and see if she wants to have dinner. Figure out what we're going to do for dinner. Alright. Yeah, now it's time. I got to get into the wiring on this thing. I might as well give you I got them right here. I'm running a Big Tree Tech Pico board in this, is what I'm going to be running for the board on it. Ooh, tacos. That is not a bad idea. Big Tree Tech Pico board. With a Raspberry Pi 0V2, or the 2W. So that's the board I'm going to be running in here. Those are the boards. I have a Raspberry Pi 4 over here, but I think that's going to go in my Voron 2.4 build. I designed this bracket to mount the Pico board. And it also has wire cable management in here. Which firmware? I'm going to be running Clipper on this. Yeah, I designed this cable management and board mount. So the Pico board mounts over here, the Big Tree Tech board. And then this, originally I designed it so that the Raspberry Pi mounted off to this side over here. But then I didn't like the orientation of it, so I just cut it. And I'm just going to like double side tape it to the back. Which, that's actually the instructions. You found a 2W. I did. I found a 2W. Chicago Electric had them for like a day. So I picked one up. I happened to find a frickin' 2W. So for this build, I think the 2W is freaking perfect. What PETG brand do you recommend to use with the Prusa? I'm probably going to use ASA and PETG mostly to print on this machine right here, the Voron V0. ASA and PETG. What PETG brand? My personal favorite is Greengate 3D. That's what this is. This is Greengate 3D PETG right here. Made in the USA, 100% industrial, recycled industrial waste. Not the cheapest stuff, but they have excellent colors. This is all from them. It's their Purple Rain color up here, and then their Cherry Pie Red. One of my favorite colors, Cherry Pie Red. So, yep. Yeah, Greengate 3D. They're quick shipping. They're good folks. I'm supposedly the owner is gonna come by the studio sometime soon, and hopefully we can maybe do a video or something like that. So we'll see. If nothing else, we might just hang out and talk shop. But yeah, so not sponsored by them. I buy all my material from them, but I just really like it. So industrial waste, lick it, I dare you. I mean, it's been printed. Tastes like plastic. Alright. I mean, it's green. Maybe it'll give me superpowers. The Toxic Avenger. On that note, folks, it is time for me to wrap up. I am really hungry. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for another excellent stream. Hopefully, I'm really, like, wiring away from getting this thing... Well, that's not true. Extruder. I haven't built the extruder yet. So I'll probably do another stream building the extruder, and then I'll get to the wiring. We'll see. But, yeah. So, alright, folks. What's your take on PLA Plus? Oh, GST PLA Plus. I've heard a lot of things bad about... made my tax prep bearable. Oh, that's saying something. Awesome. Love to hear it. GST, I've heard some really mixed things on. I've never run it. Some people swear that it's fine for how cheap it is. I think you get what you pay for on that, and I've heard a lot of people complain about some issues with it. So I don't know. I haven't bothered. I stick to mostly Polymaker PLA lately, and I've been really happy with that. So, alright folks, I'm going to duck out. It's time for me to head out and get something to eat. Thank you so much, TikTok and YouTube, for being here. Another excellent stream. Watching me fight and curse and yell at a machine, a tiny robot. I appreciate it. Appreciate you folks for being here. I will catch you all in the next one. So, thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye, YouTube. If I can get to my end screen here. Bye.